look at a team like Celtic on a normal day, let's say in a real season, maybe in an European competition against Chelsea, that would have been.
It can be Chelsea. That can happen right now.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Chelsea
on a normal day, the Chelsea that we know.
Okay.
But as we
which Chelsea do you know? Wait, first of all, which Chelsea do you know?
Not this Chelsea of last season.
Okay.
Not this, you understand? The one before Todd Bowley it came in and sort of turned them to Southampton.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea right now is turned to Southampton. Yes, it's Southampton that will buy player for the future.
Pre-season is underway and we've seen some interesting things happen so far. I mean, water is wet. Arsenal beat United. Nothing to analyze or talk about.
You know
United,
why I'm laughing, right?
United are my boys, but we've seen City.
And the sky is still blue.
Sky is still blue, normal level. We've seen City lose twice, and we've seen the Brazilian Samba boys, Chelsea. They lost
That's what I'm
under Enzo Maresca. It's Maresca, but me, I just call him Maluska because that guy.
They'll soon come for you again.
They should come for me now. After losing 4-1, they want to come for me. But just before we go into the preseason talk, we released a video on preseason betting and what to do and what to avoid when it comes to preseason betting. Preseason is almost over, but there are still lots of games that will happen, and if you're looking to place your predictions and your bets on them, you can refer to our video that will be sharing right there on your screen on how to make accurate predictions when it comes to preseason games. And now over to the topic of discussion for the preseason so far. You know, I want to get you people's opinion about preseason. You know, there's this school of thought that, it's preseason, it doesn't matter, I don't care, like it's nothing. Do you as a football fan, do you take preseason results seriously, or do you think it's just preseason?
I take some of them seriously. If it's getting closer to the season, I'm still collecting 4-1.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it seriously.
Exactly.
If it's in early part of preseason, maybe I'll look and say, okay, outside of the results, what am I seeing? What's the coach trying to do? That's entirely the point of preseason anyway. What's the coach trying to do? What is the plan? And if we're looking at Chelsea, for instance, it's not really about the result. The fact that they're losing 4, although that's hilarious. Considering that they were saying the guy has aura and all that, and that it's going to be because they saw him doing like this in training and running up and down. They said that it's going to be this and that, and then everything is now cleared out. That's not how it works. Now people are blaming Pochettino and saying he did not teach them pressing or one thing.
They don't have anything to say. That's baseless.
They don't have tactics. It's very hard to impute tactics into people that didn't have to deal with tactics for a whole season. And I'm like, so they didn't have that tactics and they finished 6th. That means that if they had tactics, they'll win the league now.
And the way they finished the season,
you get the way they finished that season. So for me, it's about what we're seeing. The ideas that this guy is the whole passing out from the back. You want to pass out from the back, and it's very obvious that something is wrong there. Secondly, the whole inverting of Gusto and James. That's when I took offense. So that's why I made that video I made. Go to our TikTok, you see it. That's why I took offense. Why are you inverting Reece James? What is it? Take this inverting nonsense and get out of here with it. Why are you inverting Reece James? What's the point? The guy has his qualities. He has what he's good at, and then you carry him and go and put him.
Well, the point. We made this point in one of our other videos as well for our viewers out there, talking about whether Guardiola has ruined football, and bringing back talking points from that video. Not every coach needs to invert. Not every coach. It's okay to play traditional
when we had
football.
This discussion, I told you. I remember we talked about the hierarchy in Chelsea. Why did they bring in?
Said you want a coach that can challenge.
Did they say they want someone that can invent?
No, apart from they say that can challenge Pep Guardiola and also playing tactics as well. And Enzo is an apprentice of that's a Pep Guardiola. And
so that's why you should invent James.
I'm not saying what he's doing is right, but I'm saying that was what he was also contracted to do.
My question now is, do Arsenal, or did Arsenal under Wenger play the same way as Pep's Barcelona or Bayern Munich, any of Pep's teams? Did they play?
No, they did not play like Wenger's team.
But Wenger's team were playing beautiful football.
But still.
Pep's team is considered to play beautiful football, but somehow they don't play the same way.
Wenger did not train Pep now. Did he train Pep?
The point is that if they bring you to come and play aesthetically pleasing football, it doesn't have to
be the same. They will copy for
like I get that you learned from him.
You know, when we had
that
video, we talked about how a lot of coaches are doing copy and paste.
Yeah.
And even when you look at Chelsea's training videos, those that were kind of leaked and all, you see that sort of Pep Guardiola kind of tactics, those high yes, being very dramatic with the way it works.
It was too familiar.
My own is, I'm not really, just like you talk about the preseason, I don't really look at the results, because if you look at some teams, let's not forget last season United won a title in the preseason, Chelsea won the title in the preseason. Chelsea won the title, Tottenham won the title, but we had the
Tottenham, they are still celebrating their title
all
as we
these
speak.
teams end. Where did they end? We know.
Yeah.
At least there's anybody to just maybe give a little pat on the shoulder, maybe United, because of the fact that they won the FA Cup. But these other teams
I'm not
finished.
giving them any pats on the shoulder.
A part of their worst Premier League finish.
No, that's what I'm saying. That at least you look at that trophy. That is one why Ten Hag is still in the job, because of the fact that he won that. So that's where you can look at United. But finishing 8th, look at Chelsea where they finished. Look at Tottenham. That should tell you why you should not really read too much into preseason. But like Brian said, it's the way you concede. Okay. And this team doesn't look like they've really understood what Enzo Maresca wants to play. And
I do wonder if Enzo himself.
let's even
but we have to wait. Let's just give him like some. Let's cut him some slack. The fact that he doesn't have the guys that went to the Euros, like Cole Palmer, his best player.
Alvarez is still playing the Olympics.
That's must want to sell him anyway.
Let's go away from the results now. What patterns are you noticing from the different teams we've seen in action so far? Like me, I've been studying like the top 5 leagues, clubs from the top 5 leagues, and their results from preseason. Like there's a platform where I see all the results, and what I've noticed is out of 65 preseason games so far, in about 58 of them, both teams have scored.
Nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of goals.
So I think
always.
I know we talked about it in one of our videos that in what we are looking forward to in the new season, that some of the things we are expecting is more goals.
Yeah.
Has anything changed for you?
No, nothing has changed. I believe that there will be many goals, because as we know also, everything that they are doing with football is geared towards more goals coming to the game, because they feel that goals are entertainment. And you know that in recent years there's been a lot of concern about fans are losing interest and all that, so we know that they want to encourage goals to be scored. So even any rule changes that will come, anything, just know that the idea is for more goals to be scored. So I know that we're going to see goals, going forward.
When there are more goals, the probability of both teams scoring also increases because there are more goals. So that makes sense. Any patterns you're noticing as well?
It's still a goal pattern. I think they're just continuing from where it sort of left off. And why I don't read so much into it, because you look at a team like Celtic on a normal day, let's say in a real season, maybe in an European competition against Chelsea, that would have been.
It can be Chelsea. That can happen right now.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said. Chelsea on a normal day, the Chelsea that we know.
Okay.
But as we
which Chelsea do you know? Wait, first of all, which Chelsea do you know?
Not this Chelsea of last season. You understand? The one before Todd Bowley it came in and sort of turned them to Southampton, because Chelsea right now is turned to Southampton. Yes, it's Southampton that will buy player for the future. That's how we know. That's Southampton. Those are the clubs that teams that will buy players for the future. That's what Chelsea is doing now.
Who is the latest guy? Anselina Gomez. What's the player?
Anselmo.
The end sort of okay, yes. I called it like an English.
Do you know anything about the guy? Do you know anything about the guy?
I've heard of him in the past.
He has prospects.
There's been a lot of hype about him.
Even Aston Villa doesn't do that anymore. The old teams that would do all this sort of things that we see. Chelsea, like, look at the money that Chelsea has spent.
No, but Chelsea have always had like loan army.
No, it's not about the loan army. It's even why they had that loan army, they still had big name players in that squad that you can talk about, top 5 players in the world, and you mention one of them inside. We saw that from different coaches, but the trajectory now is different. With the money spent, no big player, no big name. At least even PSG is struggling for Osimhen. Not like they're struggling. They are sort of thinking, should I or should I not? Chelsea should have been in that business too, because they need a player of that quality. Because for you to have a team like Chelsea, you need to have players that even your fans can brag about. That you can.
It's not even as much for me. It's more. Looking at. I can't look at. I should not forget even about the name of the player or whatever.
I don't think you realize that Chelsea don't have the appeal they had like 5 years ago. They are not appealing for big players.
No, but
when you think about it, a club where Cole Palmer is your biggest name. Just think about what that means.
But even when you don't have that appeal, look at United. Let's remember. It's not like they still have that same aura that we used to know before, but United, even when they don't have that appeal with the kind of struggle, they still pumped in money.
To be fair, they're a bigger
to attract the big players.
United have always been and will always be a bigger brand.
No, what I mean is, we know that after that the Sir Alex Ferguson era, there was a big decline in United. That players would want to, they just do not want to go there. But United had to use the money. Look about those players they brought in, even when they brought in the likes of Cavani, even Pogba, making sure that Pogba came back.
My own problem with Chelsea is I don't see how you can spend 1 billion in 2 years, and I'm looking at your starting 11. And I'm like, are they even better Aston Villa starting 11? That is a problem for me.
Based on current record, what they've done, Aston Villa did better than them.
I'm looking at that squad. I'm like,
to the Champions League.
Are you sure you're better than Brentford? Like this team I'm seeing, it's so underwhelming. And it's not just about big names. It's about like I haven't even seen the players play. Like
that question is like, it's just like the amount you mentioned. It's $1 billion question. But yeah, speaking about big names, this transfer window so far has been very peculiar, because as at this time last season, we're already hearing Caicedo is being monitored by 100 billion clubs. Declan Rice is being chased by the whole world, this and that. But this time around, as if clubs are being so conservative.
Maybe we've seen
United have signed Leniero, Arsenal pending official confirmation, but Arsenal have already signed Calafiori, and they've signed Onana as well. Villa signed Onana as well.
Everybody signed Mbappe.
And City's only signing very questionable. Exactly, Mbappe as well. Who is that? Endrick
now.
Let's get it, please. Crying. And very questionable that a side going for a 5th record extending title have signed only one player that we know is not even going to be a starter. Do you think City need to sign players or not? Especially when you consider that Ederson could still be on his way out. Yeah. Depending on how the transfer ends, De Bruyne might also still be on his way out. So do you think City should be worried?
I think it would depend on who goes out. But like we know also, City have players who are coming through and are ready to also step up. Like I've seen Oscar Bob this preseason. He has been electric. Yeah. It almost feels like a new signing, because we know he played last season, but he didn't have as big a role as he might have this season. Yeah. So you also have to consider that okay, maybe they have 2-3 players coming through who will have bigger roles, like Rico Lewis as well. So that might be a factor for why they are not going all out. Because I mean, who has left from the team? You know, of course, you want to refresh your team a bit and everything. Maybe Jack Grealish leaves before the
window. I don't think Grealish is going to leave. I think he's still going to be with that side. And if you look at City, it's not like they're not that team that always injects so many players. They're like, of recent, even with Pep Guardiola, even when they sign Haaland, just bring in Haaland. Yeah. Just one quick sign is not much. Because if you look at the players, there are a lot of the defense, the midfield, apart from Kevin De Bruyne, that is sort of aging wise, they are still fresh. They are still a player that can still go on that season. And the way Pep Guardiola is doing, it's difficult to say if you extend just past next season. Yeah. So maybe just looking at, let me look at this team and make do with the crop of players that I'm quite familiar with, and I see how far I can go. If I'm going to continue, if not, I leave this team.
So we've seen Mbappe to Real Madrid is already the biggest transfer, and it will be the biggest. No one is going to top it this summer. But which other big name transfers can still happen before the transfer window ends, especially with revolving within the Premier League. Which other big name? Okay, let's say this way. Aside
Victor
Mbappe,
Osimhen, if he moves to PSG,
what will be the next biggest transfer?
If Osimhen moves to PSG, that should be the biggest.
Osimhen to PSG.
That's that should be the biggest. If he moves to PSG, I think that would be another big move transfer.
No, I'm laughing. Barcelona.
Okay, for Nico.
Nico said Nico is staying now.
But this guy, I don't know what's going on at that club, but they need to call whoever is sanctioning their transfer. Why would you say you are sending out a deal for Omo? You are saying if he wins
that's what they do now.
Champions League, how many times did they say he wins La Liga twice?
Broke club.
Damn.
That will not agree that they are broke.
They cannot. Do you want to stay in their steez? I like their
first thing in this life is awareness. If you are broke, first accept. I am broke. What can a broke person do now? It's like when they went to sign Pedri. They accepted small that okay, we don't have money.
When Arsenal were broke, we accepted.
You accepted. Barcelona,
our best players used to leave us at the time. We're bidding 40 million and £1. We accepted our fate. We accepted our fate.
Me, my own club were very broke. We used 3 months to sign someone for 200k. We understand that we're broke, we accept it. But Barcelona, no, Laporta will never agree. We're not broke.
No, but you don't expect Laporta to come out and say.
No, you don't have to say you are broke. But in your transfer moves, you'll be a bit. It's like Nigerian government. They will say there's no money.
But they'll still collect.
You are lavishing money on this and that.
We have a lot of
you get. So you now be like, are you not first supposed to cut costs? If you don't have money, that's the first thing you think of. Like the same thing. If you don't have money, if you're not rich again, you cut costs and go and look for 2 million players.
Just on a final note here, the season is just about 2 weeks from the new 2024-25 season. Based on the fact that we've seen players play a lot of games this year, some players played in Euros, some played in Copa America. Some of them played at the Olympics or at the Olympics, yeah. And some of them are just joining their teams for preseason and whatnot, like the king himself, Kai Havertz, among other. The king himself, Kai Havertz, among other players.
So the question people that sit between, when they call about it, don't say that king again.
The question is that: do you think we'll see fatigue play out in this coming season?
Very likely. It's a must. We see that there is always one player that will have that certain level.
You've seen Euro and Oiland already. They've sustained injuries.
Injured. Apart from that, so you see that it's always going to be that player that have a certain level of decline. Last 2 seasons, we saw where Rashford scored around 30 goals, and the next season.
No, he still has potential. He's a youngster with lots of potential. Now, come on.
Last season, it's nowhere. I think the one player that I'm scared for. Thankfully, one player I'm scared for, and I still like that player is Saka. I just feel there's a lot of workload on Saka.
Maybe he will deliver.
No, it's not because I pray he delivers, but people should take it easy on him.
The day he'll get injured.
That's the thing. It's going to be a long one. However your club fares, do not come and tell us that you did not sign, because you have the chance to do that. And we're still saying you have the chance to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like, comment, let us know what are your thoughts, what are you looking for ahead of the new season. Until then, keep it up. Still with Betting Expert.
Keep living.